Another podium for you this season. You seem to be just totaling them up. It was an amazing job.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, honestly, if you asked me before the race to finish third from 15th, I'd have bit your hand off. But yeah, still kind of digesting what happened. But no, it was good fun. You know, it was pretty aggressive out there. There was a lot going on, a lot to manage. But look, we got the job done, and we stood on the podium.
Yeah. What did you make of the new circuit changes? Did that help the racing? How was it for you?
Yeah, I think it possibly helped a little bit, but again, we're just a bit stuck with this backing up 15 laps of nearly crashing into each other, and it's a little bit too extreme, so we need to look at that.
Yeah, and going into tomorrow, do you think you can replicate the kind of similar result, or is it going to be a case of just seeing what tomorrow brings?
We need to improve over one lap, because tomorrow it's 2 laps shorter, so there'll be more energy, so it'll be less saving. So we need to improve over one lap, but hopefully the team could turn that around tonight. We can do a good job tomorrow.
Brilliant, best of luck. Thank you. Right, Nick Cassidy, race winner, championship leader. Were you expecting that coming into the race today?
No, I was not, but it's always a really nice thing to hear, and a fantastic day when it's like that. You know, we take them, and awesome.
Yeah, second win of the season for you, another consecutive win for Jaguar. I can remember in Misano you were saying that you were maybe slightly apprehensive for these races coming up. What do you think it is that Jaguar have been sort of able to maybe turn around, or like what's making you so competitive? Tell me your secrets.
I really don't know. You know, today I feel like obviously we had a fair bit of luck. I didn't feel too competitive. I know we've got some work to do, but the team's pushing. We're not giving up. Everyone's working super hard, getting on well, and it's also be part of Jaguar TCS racing.
Yeah, and you complained early on in the race. I mean, you went down to 21st, but of some of the pace not really being there, and you were complaining about the beeping maybe being a little bit too early. Was that something that was resolved, or?
Not resolved. There's a struggle for pace. Yeah, so great day to win when you struggle for pace. So yes, it was awesome.
Yeah, and you seem to be a real master of these peloton-style races. Is that something that you think you've just figured out from the get-go of Gen 3, or has it come with time?
I've been lucky. I'm aware of that. You know, I'm not going to say no to it, but I'm aware that, you know, days like Misano can happen as well. So that's part of the game, and it makes us smile, it makes us frown, but we push on and we enjoy the roller coaster.
Yeah, and have you had any workings with Barbara, who was on the podium as a representative of Jaguar? Because for me personally, it was lovely to see some female representation up on the podium.
Oh, so cool to see her up there. She's obviously a big part of JLR, and to have her here is amazing. I already met her in the golf cart on the way to the podium, but that's a pretty nice place to meet someone like that.
Yeah, perfect. Well done today, mate. Cheers. Lovely. Well, I'm sorry to be speaking to you after such a disappointing race for you, Jake. Can you sort of talk me through your weekend from qualifying to now?
I mean, yeah, qualifying was pretty poor for me and Norman. You know, both starting on the last row. Just no performance in the car over one lap. Very difficult to drive at the moment. But yeah, I was generally feeling quite confident in the race, and it proved that, you know, we were doing our strategy at the start, and then we moved forward at the right time, got into P3 from P21. So, I mean, it was looking like a great race. We were up on energy compared to everyone apart from the guys at the back, and yeah, just some contact which broke the valve in the tyre, which happens 1 in a million times, and yeah, happened today. So unlucky, but it is what it is. It's what happens in those races, and yeah, we move on and try again tomorrow.
Yeah, you mentioned the pace of the car and stuff in qualifying isn't right where it needs to be right now. Is there something that's changed within the team, the software that's resulting in that? Is it the kind of tracks we're on?
There's a big change from last year inside of the team, especially on my side of the garage. But I don't think it's that. It's just more the development of the software. We don't quite have a full understanding of that compared to Porsche, and yeah, it's just a matter of learning. They've got so much more data than what we have, you know, due to how much testing they do. And right now we're just paying the price on that, and yeah, we're one of the slowest teams in qualifying, but one of the quickest teams in the race.
Yeah, there's one thing I know about you is that you're great at a comeback.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it looked great today. You know, last to third probably.
I had you down for a podium. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say top 6, and then when they were telling me with the energy profile, and you know, obviously at that stage we were sitting third. It was looking really good for a win. Obviously, still I think there was 9 laps to go, but yeah, ultimately I think the worst we were going to finish today was third.
Yeah, and what about motivation going into tomorrow? Is it a case of fresh fresh day, just start from scratch?
I mean, yeah, like I just want to qualify at the front. Not like it makes any difference in terms of my end result, but just for the team to prove and like boost their morale, because you know, especially the engineers, they're all about like lap time and efficiency, and like, you know, they just want to give me the fastest race car. And right now we're all a bit like, you know, we're qualifying at the back a lot at the moment. So it'd be nice for them. I don't think it will happen overnight, but maybe when we come back to Shanghai, we can try and fix some of the issues again. Thank you.
Well, let's start by talking about that amazing pole position. Was it a relief, excitement? Talk me through your emotions crossing the line, knowing that you had pole.
Yeah, it felt great, especially after the last race weekends. I think that this is something that it was very good for the entire team, for the engineers, for the mechanics. They worked like extra hours, you know, to put back the car like in one piece, especially after Monaco, and to reward them, let's say, with a very good performance in quali was for sure positive. I was very happy with that.
Yeah, I know you guys have been working super hard to get the car to where it is. Was there, like, did you know coming into Berlin that the car would be that competitive, or was that a bit of a surprise when you got, like, was the pace was there?
For me, it's so unpredictable that you never know if you're going to be competitive or not. My mindset before every race weekend, I try to do my best, and then you see a little bit where you are in terms of competitiveness. I was very happy, you know, to see that we were actually very, very competitive. Actually, on one lap, it didn't feel so like in FP1, but somehow, you know, the team did the right changes, right settings, you know, for quali, and it turned to be extremely positive. So now we are going to see, you know, how it's going to be, you know, tomorrow. But for sure, they did a very good job.
Yeah, and you seem to be like on fire when you come to Tempelhof. Is that a track that you particularly love, or is it just coincidence?
I have no idea. On fire, well, describe on fire. But no, but I mean, for example, the race didn't go so well. For sure, on one lap, I tend to do actually quite okay. Often I think sometimes, you know, you have like some racing tracks, some conditions, maybe the tarmac that is suiting your driving style. This is maybe the reason why sometimes, you know, you go a bit better, you know, in some tracks than in others. It could be that, but yeah, let's see tomorrow.
Okay, good luck. Thank you. Well, firstly, the youngest ever Formula E starter, now the youngest ever Formula E point scorer. Congratulations. How was that race for you?
Thank you, first of all. That was crazy, chaotic, all of them kind of words. I think that's fair to say. I missed a little bit of experience. I think I definitely could have done a bit better than that today. I think it sounds a bit silly, me being disappointed with a point, but the nature of the race, I think everybody on the grid said, I could have done this better, could have done that better, but me being myself, I would have liked to have done a little bit better, made a few mistakes, but still the pace that we had in qualifying, potentially missed a little bit in the race, but the pace where we can qualify is not bad. So yeah, I'll learn on the mistakes that I made today. Maybe we can do small things on the car for tomorrow and get some more points.
Yeah, I think you were the highest of the Nissan Powertrain qualifiers. So I mean, no, like that's an amazing job from you. How did you find racing around Tempelhof compared to somewhere like Monaco? Because there are obviously so many differences, surfaces where barriers are. Like, what did you prefer, racing in Monaco or here?
There is no preference. I love both. This race, actually, at one point, one of the laps, I was like, oh my god, this is so much fun. It was like on lap 10 or something. Obviously, then it started getting a lot more crazy in the middle of the race, and that was when I didn't even have time to think about it. I just had to do it. I really enjoyed the race. A few mistakes, like I said, but yeah, we'll work on it for tomorrow.
Yeah, and like you said, with double header. So, what kind of things are you taking into tomorrow? What are going to be your biggest takeaways from that E-Prix?
Qualifying was strong. I'm definitely happy with the qualifying. Or my own personal performance in qualifying, I think we can probably get into the top 10 tomorrow if I do a good job. So that's something to look forward to. The race, we missed a little bit of pace, so we need to review that and work on that a little bit for tomorrow. My own decision making, like I said previously, like obviously I've watched the other guys fight, learn how they're racing. So that's something that I need to work on for tomorrow.
Yeah, best of luck. Thank you. Well, we're currently on our way to the steward's office, but let's start off on a more positive note. How was your first Formula E race?
Yeah, it was crazy. I would have liked to say it was great, but it was crazy, to be honest. Yeah, definitely not something I'm used to before, and I've never been side by side with that many cars for that long, to be honest. I think I was probably this race the amount of time I spent side by side with other cars is probably equivalent to what I've done in the past 3 years in my career. So yeah, it was definitely crazy, but in a way it was cool. And I think up until the halfway point of the race, we managed it really well. And then from there on, we took a few wrong decisions, and towards the end, I had quite a bit of contact with some drivers. So obviously that didn't help us. And in the end, on the last lap, Sasha broke my rim on the rear left tire, so I had to drop back, and I finished 13th. But even after all the craziness, we were running in P9 and up there for points. So yeah, in a way, it gives me confidence that even after a race where we didn't execute the strategy perfectly, we were on for points. And now that I've learned as much as I've learned today, hopefully we can do a better job tomorrow.
Yeah, how did you find the energy efficiency and all that kind of stuff?
I mean, it's quite straightforward, but it's very difficult to do with other drivers around you because everyone is playing a different game, everyone's strategy is different. So obviously you're trying to follow your own race, but at the same time you don't want to drop back too much, and you still need to race other guys on track. And often it feels like if you're too conservative, the other drivers take advantage of it, and you get put in a difficult position. And at the same time, if you're too aggressive, you get put into a difficult position because you're risking losing your front wing or getting damaged. And it's so easy to do here because there's so many cars bunched up in a very small area. So yeah, it's hard to manage, but I guess for the fans it must be very exciting.
Yeah, very much so. You must be proud at how much you've achieved in your first Formula E race, considering you only had Misano free practice before this. It's an amazing job.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been great to finish in the points. I guess that would have really, put a dot on the first day. But yeah, I mean, there was things out of my control that happened, and there was many things that I could have managed better. So we'll try to gather all the info we can and improve for tomorrow. And Taylor finished in P10, so he's not got much experience either. So he did a great job today. But I think, had a few situations gone more our way. For example, if I didn't have contact with Sasha on that last lap, we were on for that point or even the 2 points in P9. So, yeah, I can't be too disappointed, but there's definitely a lot to improve for tomorrow.
Nick, another strong race from yourself. Just talk us through that from your perspective.
Yeah, well, that was again another typical Formula E race in the peloton. Really tough to get the elbows out, but ultimately a fantastic weekend.
Really strong fight between yourself and Mitch and Ollie in there. Just how difficult is it to be that close whilst thinking about your ultimate pace and your energy management throughout the whole race?
It's just part of the game these days. But yeah, I mean, Ollie was racing pretty hard and just had to race hard back. But yeah, António was just that little bit quicker and got that bit of advantage on us.
Race weekend as a whole, 45 points. I think it's a great one for your championship fight. You leave here top. You must be as pleased as you can be.
Yeah, as pleased as I can be for sure. Ultimately, didn't think that it was going to be a fantastic circuit for us, but pace-wise, we turned it around for today. Pretty happy weekend, yeah.
Does title charge come into your mind? Obviously, you're top of the pile. I think you've got 7 podiums from 10 around that. Does that come into your mind at this stage of the season, or it's still too early?
All the stats and figures are really nice. They're all good, but it's still too early. Still 6 races. Just going to take it one race at a time and keep pushing.
Big race for Formula in the series next in China. Return there. You looking forward to it? What are you expecting?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, right? Don't know how it's going to be from a track layout point of view. Be interesting. Fantastic for the series to be back there, and yeah, hopefully a good weekend.
Another double header as well to try and build some more momentum.
Yeah, I mean, we see with these double headers, points wise can swing big both ways, not just for the good, but also for the bad potentially. So yeah, just got to keep focused and one day at a time.
Cheers. Thanks very much. Jehan, your best result in Formula E today. Can you talk us through that one?
Yeah, it was a good race overall. Yesterday was a good day as well, but we didn't manage to score the points we deserved, and today we converted it. So I'm happy. We were fighting near the top 10 the whole race, and then in the end, a good overtake to get P7 as well in the last corner. So overall, happy with the weekend. I feel like I'm making good steps and looking forward to fighting in the sharp end, for the rest of the season.
Is that about as much as you could have managed today, P7?
You can always do things better, but I would say I'm happy. I maximized my own race. I stuck to the plan. we had a great strategy. We executed everything well. We took attack mode at the right time, and in the end, it all paid off, and we scored some decent points.
How tough is it trying to fight through the pack and manage your speed, manage your energy throughout a race like that, where everyone's sort of centimetres apart?
Yeah, it's super difficult. It's very close. There's a lot of packing up going on, so you have to be aware in every single corner. But everyone is all the drivers here at the super high level, so yeah, you manage to get round and scrape round, and yeah, the goal is always to see the checkered flag, and that helps to score points as well.
China up next, new race of Formula E in Shanghai, double header. What are your hopes and what are your expectations?
I guess China, the races are going to be a bit peloton style as well, so I think definitely a lot of overtakes. Again, as a driver, you always want to have a good qualify in the top of the group and take it from there. I think I learned a lot in Misano and then here as well. So there's a lot of positives to take, and I want to keep scoring points and make it a consistent theme.
Well done. Thank you, mate. Another day, another super scrap back through the pack for you. Could you just talk us through it?
It was good. We had a bit of I wasn't fully sure what I wanted to do on the grid, but I decided just before going that I was going to save quite a lot in the first 4 or 5 laps, and then kind of try and make hay while the sun shines. Let's say in between lap 5 and 15, which is what we did. We arrived towards the front, and then it was all just trying to survive really, and it was quite tricky, to be honest, with a lot of the things that were going on.
Explain that for us.
Well, the problem was I had 2 Jags and 2 Porsches. They were kind of ganging up on me a little bit, so I had to be quite aggressive to, let's say, make them know that I was going to stay and fight. But yeah, I was a bit disappointed. I felt before the safety car that I could have won. I just didn't quite have the balance afterwards.
Okay. In that case, was it about as much as you hope you think you could get?
Oh, absolutely. I was never expecting to be on the podium, so yeah.
Strong pair of results, and I think that's 6 podiums in 10. Is it for you? You're right up there in the title fight. Does that sort of start to come into the mindset at this stage of the season, just over halfway, or do you just play it by ear?
No, really. Race by race, of course, we're there or thereabouts, but we've got plenty to focus on in terms of performance. The 1 lap pace was not good enough here, so we need to go away, reassess, and just focus on the small details, really.
Hopes for China, a big race for Formula E, obviously. New race in Shanghai.
New for everybody, decent layout. Just hope it's good for us, but I haven't even driven it yet, so I don't know.
Cheers. Mate. Some win that, António. Talk us through how you did it. It was super close out there.
Yeah, it is. It is tight. It is tricky. You need to be smart. You need to be aggressive in the right moments and keep your car clean. I think yesterday and today I touched maybe 1 car, so awareness really I would say is the key word for these type of races, and obviously being smart of where to place your car, where to be, when to go. And as a team, I think we did well.
Yeah, you look like you were able to make a gap at just the right time after a move on Mitch at the hairpin. Just talk us through that.
Yeah, Mitch was defending aggressively, and rightly so. He's always good sport and a good one to race against. And I kind of forced him to go deep into that corner, and I was able to get it stopped, and he lost out a little bit, and I was able to do the cutback. I was worried that someone else was going to be on that inside. But yeah, fortunately it worked out for us.
Yeah, and at the end there you had a little bit in hand to make a bit of breathing space for yourself.
Yeah, I guess that's the consequence of the race that you build yourself to in that moment, and that's the whole plan, is to when the moment you take the lead that you have enough to stay there, and I think we did that well.
For the team as well, obviously Pascal 4th, how pleased are you to take the fight to the Jags after their performance yesterday? Obviously they look very strong here.
No, it's amazing points for the team, amazing to do it here on home soil. With we had a couple of board members here this weekend, a lot of employees that normally don't get to come to the races, a lot of guests. So to do it on a home ground for them is amazing.
And from your perspective, it's been a fairly long time coming. Obviously the Misano disappointment, Cape Town 23 was your last win. How does it feel?
It feels good. I won a pole position now. It's been almost 2 years since the last. Well, it's the last race of Gen 2, so that's the next goal.
China next, obviously a big one for Formula E series. What are you expecting now?
Yeah, big one. Obviously a big market for us as well as Porsche, and let's see. It's gonna be. We're going back to China, but not to the same place. Going to the F1 track. Absolutely, will be one of these peloton races again, which we are good at. So we should be looking forward to that one. Let's see if hopefully the Chinese fans will have a big turnout, and it would be great to see them cheering for us.
Well, what a drive that was, Taylor, to follow up on maiden points yesterday. Just talk us through that.
Obviously less chaotic than yesterday, but happy to get some points. Started from P18, made some good moves, got my elbows out a little bit more than yesterday. I was a bit too conservative, but in a race like that, I think it was more important to just keep my car clean and improve myself for this race today, which I think I did, honestly. I made some good moves and spent my energy a bit more wisely, so very happy.
Yeah, some good moves, including on the reigning champion and your teammate heading into the final few laps there. Yeah. Just talk us through those.
Yeah, well, both Jakes almost crashed in turn 15. And then Dennis moved to my teammate on the pit wall, but I think that's more of the nature of the corner, and I think my teammate got a little bit, scared by the fact that Dennis was coming very close to the pit wall. So I think he lifted a bit. They both lost a bit of momentum, and I saw the gap opening up already before that all happened. So I kind of picked my line before we've even gone onto the straight, and I didn't expect them to lose that much momentum. So it was more of an attempt. But when I got halfway down the straight, I was like, okay, the move's on. And yeah, I managed to place my car quite nicely. There was a Porsche, I think it might have been Verline. I managed to just get my front wing offset with him a little bit and solidify my position, so I'm very happy.
Yeah, did points yesterday kind of take a little bit of the pressure off? You look really sort of calm and collected on the grid. I think Alan McNish said so on broadcast as well.
Yeah, to be honest, I always feel a little bit nervous before the races, but I don't know what it is here. I think it's the environment that I'm in, honestly. McLaren give me such a nice environment to work in. Obviously a good car as well, so for me to be able to feel calm and comfortable, it's not that much of a challenge.
Yeah, and obviously Sam back in the garage this weekend. It looks like his operation's gone well. How pleased you are to see him in the garage and in your support?
Yeah, obviously Sam getting better soon is obviously the number one priority of everyone in the team. Him being here this weekend gave me a few tips, so that was very nice of him. He obviously doesn't have to be here. He should be at home recovering, but that's very appreciative of him to be here supporting me a little bit. So obviously I hope he gets well soon and he's back in the car for Shanghai.
Just a word on the race, obviously ultra close this weekend. How do you go about dealing with that, trying to make progress while you're looking after your energy, you're looking after your tyres to an extent, and the speed of the car as well?
You just have to make sure that you spend it wisely. In some specific corners, like turn 1, you can, if it all bunches up right, you can gain 3 places around the outside. I think I did that on one lap actually. So you have to be very clever. You have to look 2 or 3, maybe 4 cars ahead to watch the pack up and choose you have to make a split second decision and choose it wisely. So I think I managed to do that a bit better today than what I did yesterday, and yeah, happy.
Perfect. Well done, mate.
Thank you.